I'm Mary with Field of Yoga Project and Nature Force. And this is Val. She's also with those two organizations. And today I'm going to give you a sequence that's good for strengthening core and upper body in general, arms too, and trying to do so without overusing muscles that you're already using in your main activity, whether that's cycling or running, anything involving your lower body. So we know that we tend to use a lot of hip flexors and quads in both cycling and running. And so when we do our core work, it's kind of hard to avoid using those. So I've done some things to help you not engage those muscles while still being able to build your core, okay? So it'll be some strange things. It'll seem a little bit strange, but I'm giving you this information because that's the basis for it. All right, so we're gonna just get right into it. Let's do a boat pose, but not a boat pose that's normally done. We're gonna actually externally rotate thighs and cross at your ankles, and that way you're not using the front muscles as much, the hip flexors and the quadriceps. So if you bend your knees a lot and you take your knees even more out to the side and then you get as low as you can with upper and lower body, then you can actually be, then you can be working in a way that allows you to, not fire those muscles on the front so much, those overused muscles. And so she's doing a great job of trying to keep the chest lifted while she's doing this. And yes, I do want you to be here for a pretty good long while. But now we get a little bit of break. So she's got her right ankle over her left, and she's going to reach down and take both ankles. And then she's going to extend the right leg out straight to the side and just kind of let that, let your arms hold your legs for a moment and breathe. And then as wide as you want to get with this, okay? Yeah. And then we go back now, but we're gonna put the left over the right. Yep, and we gotta hold it again, okay? So the lower you get, the harder it will be. And it's always a balancing act, and you're trying to keep the angle the same so that we don't have like body high, legs low, or body low, legs high. We're trying to keep both of those angles the same. So we're breathing, we got the external rotation. Yes, you will still feel some hip flexor, but it's a different aspect of hip flexor than what you're using on your, forward motion kind of stuff. So should help with the fatigue factor. One more breath. And then we get to hang on to ankles again and work to extend the top leg straight and the other one goes out to the side. So if reaching your ankles is hard, then you're gonna hold on, somewhere further up your leg, closer to your knee. And work on getting your one leg straight and letting the other one fall out to the side, both legs supported by your arms. Okay, so now we're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna internally rotate the legs, but we're gonna get really low. So first, lower your body until your sacrum is actually resting on the mat. Internally rotate your legs and extend your legs straight though. Yeah, Turn your toes in a lot. Turn your toes in as much as you possibly can. Even more. So it's hard to completely avoid these muscles that we're trying to avoid, but we can help a little bit by doing things like this. 2 more breaths. Oh, it's not fun. No. Release it down. Take your arms overhead and take a few breaths all the way up and down your entire body, and especially allowing the abdomen to move as you breathe. So now we are counterposing by softening abdomen and letting it rise and fall. Okay, next up we're going to do some diving dolphins. Okay? So if you just hug your knees in and rock and roll forward and backward until you want to rock up and step back to a down dog or right to dolphin, either way. Okay, so dolphin is just down dog on your forearms. On the inhale, dive forward like a forearm plank. The shoulders will actually come a little ahead of your elbows. And then exhale, coming back into dolphin. Okay? So inhale, diving forward. And then exhale back to dolphin. Okay. So if you want to, when you come forward, you can step your feet back a little or do that kind of like Wizard of Oz move of clicking your heels to have your feet slide back. And then you won't be diving quite as far forward with the shoulders. But as long as your shoulders feel fine when you're doing it, you're okay with not having to move the feet, okay? How many you want to do?
Not very many.
We're going to do one more, okay? So diving forward is on the inhale, and then coming back is on the exhale. All right, so lots of strength to shoulders that actually has some lat action to it and tricep action. Take a couple more breaths, and then we're going to drop knees down and do cat and cow on the forearms. So take your elbows into about shoulder width and inhale to cow pose, the back bend, yep, and then exhale, arch it up. If your knees are slightly behind your hips, it's going to be better, okay? So that's how Val's set up, try to set up that way, but try to keep the shoulders right above the elbows when you do cow, like here. So move back just a teeny, yep. Okay, so next up, I'm going to just finish this one. Then we're going to roll on our back. And there's an interesting thing we're going to do for hips, and it is also a way to get a transverse core strengthening. So we lay back, take your legs straight up to the sky, and take your palms together overhead, arms straight, towards the sky, Yep. Okay, so on inhale, you're going to take your straight leg all the way out to the floor and let your pelvis tip to that side. It tips until your foot lands. Foot lands, pelvis tips, yeah. Now, use your core to take your leg back up. So it's going to feel like trying to press that pelvis back flat. Then the inhale is taking your left leg out to the side and let the pelvis tilt. Now try to keep that leg straight up, and then taking that leg up, yes, round down through your core to get the pelvis flat again. So you'll feel your sacrum getting flat on the mat. Yeah, I know. You don't want to go that far. It makes your pelvis tilt, but that's the point. I want your pelvis to tilt, and then I want you to have to work to take it back. So that's why the work is done. That's why the exhale is done as you take your leg up. That is when the work is done, and you get more power out of your exhale. Okay. So we're gonna do about 5 on each side. We might be on 3 or 4.
I think that's 3.
Okay. So a couple more on each side. And again, this is a way to do some core work without overusing the unidirectional muscles that are often overworked by cyclists and runners. Okay. This is the last one. Cool. So now hug knees in. And again, counter pose. See if you can get your belly to expand into your thighs. See if you can, soften things that have been working. Even get a sense that you're expanding through the side ribs and through the soft tissue below side ribs. Okay, so now we're gonna roll over and do direct on side plank work on the forearm. So if you just roll and set yourself up on your right forearm with that forearm parallel to the front of your mat. Tip it onto the side. All right, arm up to the sky. On the inhale, arm goes forward, lift your hip as high as you can. On the exhale, we take the arm to the sky and we take the hips as low as we can without touching down. Yeah. So we inhale and we reach up, hips up, and then we exhale, arm to the sky, hips down. 5 times each side. So as you're doing this, things that you might check out of are keeping your right frontal shoulder drawn back, so don't let it pop forward. And trying to keep your pelvis level. Don't let it tilt back. After 5, other side. Yeah, we just go right there. Yeah, it'll feel great. It'll feel easy. All right, so it's a forearm plank, and you'll notice that Val, when she is in neutral in her forearm plank, her elbow is slightly forward of her shoulder, and that's where I want you. Sometimes I forget to say these things in these videos because Val already knows them and does them, but I'm pointing it out now so that you see that. Do not have your elbow directly underneath your shoulder for this, because when you lower your hips, you don't want to have a lot of, you don't want to have that shoulder popping up. So she's doing it 5 times.
5.
Cool. And then release down, and it's fingertip cobra time. You're going to see these in everything I do. So it's inhale, and it's a back bend with low ribs on the mat, and it's exhale, release, turn your head to a side. So you want to feel that the bottom ribs are staying touching the ground when you come up. And so by keeping the bottom ribs on the ground, you're bending only the top of your spine, and that's the point of fingertip cobra. The top of the spine is the hardest part to bend. And this is just great counters for what we've just done. So after we've done that a few times, feel good?
Yep.
Okay, so next up, we're gonna make our way to a wall, and we're gonna get one more core thing in, and this one is done inverted. So we're gonna be a handstand. So follow us to the wall. Just like that. Okay. All right, so Val's gonna set up, and she's gonna be facing away from the wall. And she's gonna try to step up at a 90-degree angle between hips and body, but if that's too much, you just go a little further from the wall. Okay, so now, on the inhale, she is going to take a leg up. Wait, actually, she's just gonna hold that up. And now she's gonna try to exhale, tilt your pelvis backwards, and then inhale, tilt your pelvis forward. You remember this? So it's like cat and cow while you're in this pose. And it's really subtle, and you guys won't be able to see it, but you definitely will be able to feel it when you do it. So we do that there, it's happening. It's a core deal. And then after 3 or 4 or 5, whatever, you put that leg on the wall. You decide if you need to take a child's pose before doing the other one, because you want to keep the integrity. When you take your child's pose, make sure that you allow yourself like full release, like soften the entire upper body. All right, so the other side, because you've got to. And so we step up the wall, heels no higher than hips. And then when we take a leg up, cool, we're trying to tilt the pelvis. So might be better to see here. It's little actions of trying to get the pelvis to tilt. Awesome. All right. So she does that 3 or 4 times. Then, yeah, places the leg down. Okay, so I'm going to make her do it one more time. And this time it's going to be just try to find neutral with the pelvis. So you don't want to have a back bend, and you don't want to be, tilting backwards with your spine, with your pelvis. So let's give that one a go, and that's the last one. So she'll go back to the first leg. And now that she's felt the 2 extremes of position of, the pelvis tilted forward and back, she's going to try to hold it just nicely aligned. And that looks awesome. Oftentimes what we see here is a back bend. Go ahead and do the other leg. So that one goes to the wall. Take the other one up. It's hard after you're fatigued. Awesome. Okay, we can release it. So that's a way to make sure that you're getting out of this what it's meant to provide. And too often people go to the wall, they do these things, and they're a little bit checked out about what their core is doing. But that'll help you a lot with any inversions that you're working with, like handstand or whatever. Anything, headstand, forearm balance type stuff. So, and these are great things to work on for people who do a lot of lower body activity. Let's make sure that we do have this complementary upper body stuff going on. So I can help you with that. And Val can too. So thank you for practicing with us. Namaste.